Hello and welcome to Guy Free Working on Me, a woman's journey to self-awareness. This is a great moment in your life, a moment where you have decided to stop taking care of everyone else and to just start to take care of yourself. Stick with me through these podcasts and we are going to take the best rides of our lives. Listen up. Guy Free Working on Me is not meant to be a permanent lifestyle. It is meant to be a time in your life where you stop basing your worth, your happiness, and your self-esteem on having a man at your side. This is going to be an all-out redeciding of who you are, who you want to be, and what you feel inside. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello, everyone. I'm Shauna Hoffman. Are you ready to look at your brilliance today, your creativity, your kindness, or compassion, or heart? On this episode, we're going to grab, claim, and scream to the universe our own individual gifts. What's my power? As life takes us on its own journey, sometimes we lose track of what is deep in our souls as our most profound talents, our innate qualities or wisdom, or what I call our superpowers. When we use our innermost talents to change ourselves, the world, and the planet for good, then we are one of the heroes. But most importantly, we release an energy within us that builds our own self-image and self-worth 1,000,000 times over. And remember all those selves? One of the steps to self-awareness is to acknowledge our superpower. Then making use of that superpower makes you feel better about yourself, grows your feelings of self-worth, and all of your selves come alive from there. The better your self-image, the more self-worth you have, and that can only attribute to your own sense of self-love. Combine all that, ladies, and you become your magnificent, genuine self. There's this great meme of a glacier with a quote. It says this: "What we see often is only a fractional part of what really is." So picture the top of a glacier sticking out of the ocean. What you can't see is the depth of the rest of the glacier that's reaching down hundreds of feet below the surface. Self-awareness is the most beautiful exploration of what's lying beneath your surface. And when it comes to your superpower, we need to let it shoot right back up into the sky. Okay, what do I mean by superpowers? For today, I want to think of our superpowers in terms of the glacier. What's hiding below the surface that perhaps is what fuels your art if you're an artist, or fuels your actions in life? Today, we're going to explore this through something we call the 8 types of intelligence. Now, I'm not talking about IQ intelligence. That's a standardized test that measures one's supposed mental ability, reasoning skills, intellectual ability. But as we all know, one's IQ can have absolutely nothing to do with your ultimate success in life, or your relationship successes, or your expression of who you are. So today, I want to share with you another intelligence test model. This is a model from a Harvard psychologist, Howard Gardner, that describes 8 different types of intelligence. I love these because they actually are the crux of what I see as your superpowers. And I say superpowers because as I go through these 8, you'll see that you possess more than one. And when you combine some of these into your life, your superpower explodes. I'm so tired of hearing women put themselves down because they've not reached a certain scholastic degree, or they don't feel smart or intelligent, or they aren't as artistic as their partner or friend. I'm hoping that you see here that there are at least 8 different types of intelligence, and we all hold powers in at least 4, if not 5 of them. While I share these with you, I want you to listen to see where you hold powers in more than one intelligence. And remember, there's a very high probability that you're weaker at some of these and stronger in others. Truly, there's not one person that's going to be brilliant at all of them. So take a listen and let's let your superpowers be known. And if you want to read more about these, I want you to check out this article on verywellmind.com by Kendra Cherry. A lot of what I'm sharing here is from her article. So let's play with the 8 types of intelligence. The first is linguistic. People with this intelligence or superpower can remember written and spoken information pretty easily. They love reading, writing, telling stories. They're good at debates or giving persuasive speeches. They're usually really good at explaining things. A lot of them like to use humor when they tell a story. People who have manifested this superpower could be amazing writers, speakers, lawyers, podcasters. They can interpret words into thoughts and emotions. Now think about yourself for a minute. Are any of these traits of linguistic intelligence a part of your superpowers? If so, are you using them in life right now? Are you using them for fun, recreational purposes? Remember, we can't always have time to master a superpower when we have jobs, children, responsibilities, unless you're tapping into them in a business of some kind. Have you chosen a career that's really strong in its use of linguistics? Are you a parent using these with the children in your life? Oh, now I want you to think about your past for a minute. Did you use this superpower when you were younger? Is it still sitting below the surface of your glacier, a hidden side of you that's wanting to come to the surface, or a geyser that's ready to blow? Have you been wanting to write a book or poetry or thought about becoming a speaker? Where are you on the linguistic intelligence quotient? Now let's talk about what they call logical mathematical intelligence. The people that have a high IQ in this area are interested and fascinated by patterns, categories, relationships between things. They have this great ability to analyze a problem or a situation and come to a clear understanding or a solution. They're problem solvers. They thrive on thinking about abstract situations or conducting experiments. Think about engineers, scientists, scientific researchers, mathematicians, computer programmers, accountants. Think about people who love word puzzles or playing chess or tinkering with something to see how it works. Now think about yourself. Are any of these traits of logical, mathematical intelligence a part of your superpowers? If so, how are you using them in your life? Are you using them for fun, hobbies? Are you using them in a business? Have you chosen a career that's using them? Are you a parent using them with the children in your life? Now think about your past. Did you use this superpower more when you were younger? Is it sitting below the surface wanting to come up? Another intelligence is bodily kinesthetic. I love this one. It's the ability to process knowledge through bodily sensations, hand and body control, or expression. Think of a dancer, an athlete, or someone who creates things with their hands. People with bodily kinesthetic intelligence remember things better when doing something versus hearing it or seeing it. They're well coordinated and they have good motor skills. Think about yourself for a minute. Are any of these traits something that's part of your superpowers? If so, are you using them in your life? Are you using them for fun? Do you love to work out or bike ride or dance or do yoga? Are you tapping into them in a business or have you chosen a career that's really strong in its use of this superpower? How about as a parent? Are you using it with your children? And now think about your past. Did you use this superpower more when you were younger? And is it sitting below the surface wanting to rise up? Now let's talk about spatial intelligence. It's also called visual intelligence. These superheroes think in images and pictures. They're masters at visualizing things. They can comprehend three-dimensional images and shapes. It's a very right-brained intelligence. It helps you read a map or solve a puzzle. Imagine the artist that shares their spatial intelligence, like Da Vinci, who can paint images of our world accurately, or an interior designer or an architect, photographers, advertisers, cartoonists, graphic designers. Okay, now think about yourself. Are any of these traits of spatial visual intelligence a part of your superpowers? Are you using them in your everyday life? Are you using it for fun in your work? Are you using it with your children? Now think about your past. Did you use it more when you were younger? Or is it sitting below the surface wanting to rise up? The next one is musical intelligence. Oh, this one has so many different levels. There are people who have a musical sense and can sing or play an instrument. They can hear different pitches and tell the difference between a clarinet or a flute. Others who can sense the beats and rhythms of music and embrace their music intelligence in dance. You could be a music producer who can hear and help other artists interpret their music. Others who can tell a story through music, like Lin-Manuel Miranda and other writers of music in theater or film. You could be a music teacher, or you could just love to combine this with your bodily kinesthetic intelligence and dance your heart out in your living room. One of my best friends is a flutist. She devoured music in every way. We realized something so different between us. When she listened to songs, she heard the music, each instrument, the harmonies. And when I listened to the same songs, I heard the beat, the melodies, and the words. And I have to say, when I would watch her play her flute, it was like watching a dancer. The music flowed through her whole body. I have some level of musical intelligence, but nothing like hers. It's truly one of her superpowers. She became a professional flutist and a flute teacher. And me, I can't even carry a tune. But I can hear the beat of the music, and I play my congas, and I dance to the beat. Okay, here are your questions. Think about yourself for a minute. Are any of these traits of musical intelligence a part of your superpowers? If so, are you using them in your life? Are you using them for fun, recreation, hobbies? Are you using it in a business? Have you chosen a career that's really strong in its use of this superpower? How about with your kids? Think about your past. Did you use this superpower more when you were younger? Is it sitting below the surface? Is there a musical intelligence in you that is screaming to be tapped into? Do you want to learn how to play an instrument, sing in a choir, or write the next big rock opera? Now we're going to talk about something called naturalistic intelligence. This intelligence is when you have the ability to relate to and make connections to your natural surroundings. You're more in tune with nature, the earth, plants, the oceans, rivers, and trees, the animals on the planet, or the whales and the dolphins in the oceans. Think gardeners or people who grow vegetables or entire fields of fruit, people who work to save our planet or oceans, or people who are called to work in places like environmental groups, people who love to learn about other species. Jacques Cousteau, Jane Goodall, Darwin, John James Audubon. Do you love to hike? When I hike, I'm always touching the leaves and the trees as I go by. I write my podcast every day, either sitting in my garden or being on my boat. My linguistic intelligence is nurtured and empowered by my naturalistic intelligence. I thrive in nature. I'm more creative in nature. Do you see how one intelligence can go hand in hand with another one? I have a friend that creates these amazing trips with me. We go to places all over the world, but his travel business model is sustainable travel, working with the environment on travel. Now it's your turn. Are any of these traits of naturalistic intelligence a part of your superpowers? Are you using them right now in your life for fun, for hobbies, for a business? Have you created a career around it? Are you a parent that's teaching it to children? Are you taking them on nature walks? What about your past? Do you use the superpower more when you were younger? Is it sitting below the surface and wanting to surface again in your life? And if it did, how would you feel differently? Really important question. If you tapped into this intelligence, how would you feel differently? These last two intelligences are the human contact ones. Really, you can have the highest IQ in the world, but without just the tiniest level of these two, you're not going to find happiness. Let's talk about interpersonal intelligence first. Interpersonal intelligence is the ability to understand other people, to interact effectively with other people. The people with high interpersonal intelligence have really good verbal, nonverbal communication. It's something that I strive to help all of my podcast listeners and my clients with. I do think this is a natural intelligence that can also be honed and grown, and it should be. This is how all of your relationships will flourish. But the actual instincts are a little different than what can be learned. People with a high interpersonal intelligence can sense differences in others, distinctions, and they have the ability to use that in the most sensitive and compassionate way. They have a special ability to sense people's moods or temperament. And I love this one. They have the ability to be open-minded and hear multiple ideas and perspectives that are shared with them. The best of these people are Gandhi or Cesar Chavez or other people in history who have taken action for the greater good of all. Now, on a much smaller level, think of therapists or teachers or theologians. But take it a step further and think of entrepreneurs that look at the needs of large groups of people to create a business that answers or addresses human challenges. And then there are the amazing parents or caretakers. These are people who can look past their own needs at times to address the needs of someone else. People who use the superpower of compassion. People who are less comfortable with this are people who prefer to be by themselves rather than being with other people. Or there are also many people who are self-absorbed or narcissistic that cannot look past their own needs to see the needs of others. They may come across very personable, but they truly don't hold interpersonal skills. So asking these questions now are a little bit different with this one because it could be in life that you have better skills with strangers than you do with your own personal relationships. To truly have this superpower, you need to be able to tap into this well of skills for every relationship in your life. So here are the questions. Think about yourself for a minute. Are any of these traits of interpersonal intelligence a part of your superpowers? If so, are you using them in all of your relationships? How about with your partners, your parents? What about on the job? How are your communication skills with strangers? Is this a superpower you've created a life, relationships, or business around? Now ask yourself, is this an intelligence factor that needs work? Do you need to work on your ability to look outside of yourself to see other people's perspectives? Do you need to work on your anger or superiority feelings in order to speak to others with respect? Do you need to believe in yourself more in order to communicate your own needs? As you can see, this is an intelligence that every being on earth needs to work on. And yet there are some people who truly have it as their superpower. Would your world change if you let it shine? I remember the day I decided to go back to school to get my master's in psychotherapy. I'd been using this superpower for years, helping my friends or families with their emotional struggles. I remember it started in junior high school when I was the girl that all the friends came to when they were upset or hurt. One night, as an adult, I'd been on the phone with 3 different people helping them with their problems, and I knew it. Damn, I am so good at this. Maybe I can use it to change people's lives. You probably are using this superpower on some level every day. You don't have to make a living at it, but when you honor it and let it fly, your heart grows. Here's the last one. Intrapersonal intelligence. It's truly my favorite. In the simplest terms, it's self-awareness. It's the ability to look within yourself, to explore your emotions, your goals, your desires in life. When you have intrapersonal intelligence, you can use it to plan for your future because you're in touch with your own needs versus others. You're aware of your emotions and the behaviors that come from them. You are aware of your motivations. You know what? Damn right. We're right back to genuine self again. I could go on and on about this one, but it's basically my whole podcast series. When we raise our own self-awareness, our entire world changes. Whether it's in our relationships, our jobs, with our health, our hobbies, with crafts we pursue, or the music we listen to, intrapersonal intelligence is the ultimate goal. And truly, with intrapersonal intelligence, we can look below the surface of that glacier. We can see what lies under the water that is waiting to come to life and to feed our souls. I want every one of you to see how amazing you are, how rounded you are, how intelligent you are in so many ways. We tend to compare ourselves with other people all the time. We judge ourselves because we may not be good at certain things. We choose jobs that don't tap into all of our encompassing superpowers. And then we wonder why we struggle or we're not happy. And then there's the woman who becomes a single mom and has to support herself. Or another who's now an empty nester and decides to try and get a job. Way too often I hear, I don't know how to do anything. Or who would want to hire me? I have no experience. Are you kidding me? Look at all 8 of these different intelligence factors and tell me that each one of you does not excel in a whole bunch of them. Then, when you think about them, see if there are any that are waiting for you to tap into. See if there are any that combined together will change your life in some way. See how amazing you are and what superpowers you have. Embrace and love that you are different than every other person in the world. Your different intelligences combined within you can only be expressed by you, by no one else. Now, take a deep breath. And I want you to say to yourself, I am Superwoman. I am a beautiful combination of amazing superpowers. Never doubt me because I have arrived. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for sharing a portion of your day with me. Be good to yourselves. Take loving care of yourselves. Drink lots of water. Eat nourishing foods. And I look forward to popping back into your lives again next week. Thank you for joining me today on the Guy Free Podcast. My hope is that you leave this podcast inspired, fired up, and ready to take that next step on the magical journey of self-awareness. And then you come back and join us again. Oh, and if you can do me a quick favor, please leave me a 5-star review over on iTunes. I gain so much from reading the reviews and getting feedback from my listeners. Each week, I'm going to choose one special person who's left me a review to win my book, Guy Free Working on Me. That was the book that started it all. Make sure you add your name to the review, and I'll reach out to you if you're the winner. Thanks again for spending your time with me today. Be sure to visit me on the Guy Free Working on Me Facebook page and on workingonme.com for past episodes and insight into the fabulous journey to you.